supposed to be in the wild card. They are playing the Bulls right now. They're currently beating in the Bulls in the third quarter by 30 points. It's only going to get worse because they need point differential to
Well,
make it
lucky
to the
for the
next
Celtics, the
round.
Bulls are bad. So they
Oh my
got that
god.
going for them.
They're going to beat them by 40 points. In fact, the Sixers beat the Lakers by 44 points yesterday. That's what this is season is. That's what this is doing to people. But that game had nothing to do with it, so I don't know why I brought that up.
Was he part of the tournament?
It wasn't part of the tournament.
Just wanted to beat the Lakers by 44 points.
44 points.
That's insane.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, I guess here we are. It is November 28th. This is it's with H&D, touchdowns and tangents, TDs and tangies.
Yes.
I am Derek.
I'm Harland.
And that's Harland. And we are here for another week. This is the pre-week 13, post-week 12. Week 12 was a busy week because we had Thanksgiving,
Yes.
travel,
A lot,
cooking,
a lot of games.
a lot of games. Didn't they used to do 4 games on Thanksgiving? Like 2 evening games?
Was it 4? I only ever remember like 3, like or 2. I
Used to be 2
remember
for the longest
because
time.
not Washington. The Cowboys always play, but it used to always be Cowboys in Washington and Detroit always play. Those are the only teams that had to play on Thanksgiving. So I only ever remember those 2. These night games to me they won't even let you enjoying Thanksgiving with the family. The NFL has to be part of everything.
You can't spend time with the family. You can't watch Charlie Brown Christmas.
Mm-mm.
Can't do any of the things that you used to do on Thanksgiving evening. Now it is entirely dedicated to football. And I guess there's far worse ways to spend your time.
You could be arguing with politics with your family the entire time.
Be arguing football. Much rather.
Well, that's much. Yeah, that's a good thing. That's a great thing.
Oh boy. Well, let's fire it up. Let's go. Well, you know what you have to do. Neither of our teams played on Thanksgiving, but one of our teams played prime time Monday night and scored 12 points, which means
which is greater than 10,
which is more than 10. So that means I get to talk Bears to start things off.
Mm-hmm.
I said last week the Bears were going to win this game.
Yep.
And it wasn't like weird homerism. I felt that the Bears were trending up defensively. I was tired of the Josh Dobbs things. Like that whole thing over. Had to come to an end eventually. And they always do, right? It's like in baseball when a guy comes up and is crazy hot for like a month. Everybody's like, "Oh, he's the new Mickey Mantle or whatever," and then, they're batting 210 with 6 home runs and 300 strikeouts by the end of the season. Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of what Josh Dobbs is. And the Bears won. The Bears
as
needed
the best you have.
They
need to win. That's the argument.
They do. I think they do need to win. I think they do need to win because they have the luxury of having the Panthers pick. So they should go out there and should not worry about. I mean, they don't worry about draft positions anyway. The players and the coaches don't worry about that kind of stuff, right? But the fans shouldn't worry about it for the Bears and the Bears situation. I think that Bears pick, if it ends up the Bears win out and end up 9-8, and they end up with like the 14th or 15th pick, you should cheer that. You should be.
I'm gonna tell you now. If they finish 9-8, that's a playoff team.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a playoff team.
I know. The NFC is real thin in the bottom third, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let's go over the positives of the Bears last night.
Okay.
The defense was outstanding.
Yes, they were.
They got Montez Sweat, and that dude, the return on investment for that trade has already paid dividends. In the 3 weeks that he's played, they're as a collective team. Their pass rush win rate has gone up. Their blitz rate has gone down. And then as a collective, I know PFF grades are like like a thing to like kind of use as a litmus test, but they've all gone up collectively across the board for the defensive line. So the defense gets pressure. He had 1.5 sacks, 7 quarterback pressures yesterday. Was big on.
Especially when the quarterback those 4 interceptions, you gotta believe the pressure was getting to him.
The pressure gets to him, right? That's why pressure is so important. And I don't care if it's Josh Dobbs or if it's Patrick Mahomes. You make them run around, they're going to make mistakes. And that's when your secondary needs to step up. The Bears defense, since getting Montez Sweat, has gotten 7 interceptions in the 3 games, right? Prior to that, I think they had 5 as a team in the previous stretch, right? So pressure is important. The secondary stepped up. The linebackers played good. They played strong, solid defense. Very penalty-ridden. They got real handsy in the secondary, but they didn't get beat too bad. They only gave up 1 touchdown, which should be a game winner. If you get 4 turnovers and only allow 1 touchdown, you should win the game. Now let's talk about the other part of the football. Roschon Johnson was outstanding.
Okay.
As a rookie, he terrific in pass protection, pretty good running the ball in the backfield, caught some pivotal passes early on to convert on 3rd down or 4th down. It was great. Justin Fields was fine for 90% of the game. The 10% of the game were those 2 fumbles. But won the game at the end, which is something that Bears fandom, well, he doesn't win games. He got clutch in the 4th quarter, blah, blah, blah. Ball security is a big issue with Justin Fields and has been since he came in the league.
He's been running for his life
the whole time, right?
Yeah.
He runs a lot with one hand on the ball. And
like quarterbacks do.
I still have to believe that, he's been pretty fumble happy in his 3 years, but he's been real fumbly the last 2 weeks after coming back from a dislocated thumb. So you almost have to wonder, is his grip strength not 100%?
But he seems to be throwing it well. And he's went 27. He completed 27 passes for 217. It's not horrible.
Oh man! And let's talk about those 27 passes. I think 2 of them went over the line of scrimmage. It was such a weirdly schemed. Yes, the Vikings blitz every down. Great.
Yes, they blitz more than the Giants. They are the number 1 blitzing team.
They blitz like 60% of downs. Justin Fields last night on blitzes, I want to say completed 80% of his passes and was like a 99 or a 102 passer rating. Right? He was great on the blitzes. But their scheme was, all right, everything's behind the line of scrimmage. Everything. And it wasn't even like a true quick game. It was all bubble screens, It's like, here's something, here's 3 wide receivers lined up in this formation every time. And then they like playing Madden, they hit the X button, and then it's all on the opposite side. Like, they just flipped them, like, back and forth. Like, I don't know. It's hard to, like, say, boy, Justin Fields was only... But he almost had 300 yards of total offense, right? Like, and they won the game, and he had the game-winning drive. So I don't know how you can be mad at that. I mean, boy, if you're on Bears Twitter, it was
not enough
roller coaster. Oh, you're mad when they lose, and then you're mad when they win because they don't win the way you think you want them to win, right? Like, everybody wants Justin Fields. Who wouldn't? To go out there and throw 350 and 4 touchdowns every week.
They want him to look like C.J. Stroud now.
Want that quarterback? That quarterback doesn't exist. That quarterback doesn't exist.
Not for y'all. Or he exists other places or us.
350 and 4 touchdowns every week? There's not a quarterback.
Every week, no.
There's not a quarterback. That's what Bears fans, there's a specific subsection of Bears fans expect that. And if he doesn't do that, then Justin Fields is a bust. And they've been saying that almost since like the dawn of Justin Fields. And
I don't know. How do Bears fans know what a good quarterback is? How do they've seen Aaron Rodgers and
watched the Green Bay Packers for the last 30 years. And most of the most vocal Bears fans are only old enough to remember to know good Packers and don't remember good Bears.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's 30 years.
You're right. Yeah.
These loudmouths are like in that 20 to 30-year-old range, or maybe even mid-30s. But, I mean, Nobody followed a football team at the age of 5. It just doesn't happen, right? So all of their football knowledge is based upon, well, Green Bay did it for 30 straight years. It's got to be easy, right? It isn't.
No, 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 no.
But the
No.
but the Bears eked out a win, 12-10, puts them to 4-8. The Bears are two collapses, two fourth quarter collapses. They should have beat the Broncos. They were up by multiple scores in the fourth quarter. They should have beat the Lions. They were up multiple scores with 4 minutes to go. They should have beat the Saints because the Saints are bad, but the Bears had Tyson Bagent back there, and they did what they could, right? But let's take those two collapses. That puts them at 6-6 if they flip the other way.
Mm-hmm. 6-6. They are right in the thick of it.
They're
for the playoffs.
Well, they'd be in the 7th spot because they just beat the Vikings, so they win that tiebreaker, right? Or probably. And so
I see where you're going. When you watch the Bears, though,
oh god,
they don't look that good.
They're not. No.
Good.
No, they don't. They don't look good. It's tough.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I watch the Bears, and just hearing you say what you said, it sounds exactly like my Giants. Like the last 3 weeks, defense has won the game for us, or 2 weeks because we the third one we lost dramatically, but the defense has stepped up. We have an offense that is not playing well. It's doing all it just needs to, and we need every bit of every single turnover to win the game. So yeah, the Giants game, I was not expecting much. I knew it was going to be bad. But I was there for the whole thing. I'm a fan, die hard. So I'm gonna watch the good games. I'm gonna watch the bad games, and this was not a good game. Giants started off the first drive. It was moving the ball downfield. Is like, okay, Vito's looking good. We're getting first downs. They botched handoff, drive ends. They get the ball back down. Well, they did not have a drive that I thought looked good pretty much for the rest of the game. They had some okay plays here and there, but put together a solid drive, I didn't see one. But luckily for the Giants, Mac Jones is on the other side of that field for the first half. Man, that guy does not look good. We have a undrafted quarterback that still lives with his mom playing for us, and he was the best quarterback on the field yesterday. It was not yesterday, but Sunday. It was rough watching, and I love watching the Patriots stink, but I felt bad for Patriots fans watching Mac Jones throw the ball. He didn't throw a ball that looked like it was confident, that looked like it was on target. I watch him blame the receivers. I'm like, this is not going well. He threw 2 interceptions. One was due to pressure that he shouldn't have to throw. And this goes back to what I think I've said it before about our quarterback, DeVito. He takes a lot of sacks, but he does not throw the ball errantly. He's thrown 1 interception in the games that he's played. He's started 2 games or 3 games and played in 4, and he's threw 1 interception in the first game and hasn't thrown 1 since. They showed his numbers. He's got 2 wins on the season. None of the other Giants have 2 wins. He also has 9 touchdowns. That's more passing touchdowns than Tyrod Taylor and Daniel Jones combined. I think they said he had 9 touchdowns.
Looks like he's got 7. He also has 3 picks.
Yeah. What was I looking at then? But even then, he has been very good with the ball. He doesn't throw a lot of interceptions. He does get sacked a lot. And like I said, I think it's just the game is moving a little too slow, too fast for him. He can't make his second reads. By the time he looks for a second guy, the pressure, it was too late. Like I found myself counting it, like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. The ball should be going someplace, and now he's trying to look and figure out, oh, there's a rush coming. The offensive line is protecting him long enough to make a decision. He's just not making decisions fast enough. Besides that, the man throws a good deep ball. Jalen Hyatt had 100 yards. Um, it was good. The Giants defense once again saved the day. They had three interceptions. They had actually two forced fumbles, but didn't recover them. The defense, one of the six, the interceptions was a 55-yard return that basically set up the only touchdown of the game for the Giants, and then they kicked another field goal. The offense, I'm not gonna say they look good because they didn't look good. You can't score 10 points and look good scoring 10 points, but protecting the ball is what they're asking Tommy DeVito to do. He's doing it well. He's nothing but a backup quarterback, so I'm not going to get into this whole mode of, oh yeah, he's good. It should be a quarterback competition. No, he's a backup quarterback who's coming in, who's playing well. Let him be a backup quarterback. Let him grow. Maybe he can grow into something, but give him time. I'm not giving him anything. And honestly, they're talking about Tyrod Taylor coming in instead of him. Some people say no. Bring Tyrod Taylor back in. Like, he's a better player than DeVito. I understand what you're saying, but Tyrod Taylor would have won those last couple games. The defense caused 6 turnovers in the game against Washington, and then they had another 3 turnovers in it. The defense is winning games, but the offense is stagnant because of what DeVito lacks. So, yeah, bring Tyrod back after the bye if we can. But I'm going to be honest. I did not think the Giants and the Bears were going to win on the same weeks for the rest of the show for the rest of this year. Didn't see it happen. we need a segment or we need some music, but when that happens, we probably won't play it off.
Well, I'm not going to put the effort into it now because we just burnt our one opportunity for the season.
We definitely did. But getting a win, it's bittersweet because we don't have the Carolina Panthers pick, right? So we kind of want picks, but I also am not for tanking. I think it's the worst strategy you possibly can have. It's loser mentality, and I will not abide by it. I will not go for it. So I prefer them to win. I don't care if we don't make the playoffs. But that being said, the Bears and the Giants are in the playoff hunt. Just thought I'd throw it out.
They are in that proverbial hunt that is always there off to the side of the screen.
Until they are mathematically eliminated, they're in the hunt.
Every channel has the same graphics. Giant images of the leaders, right? Like here's a giant eagle, here's a giant arrowhead, right? Then there's the division leaders that are not as giant, but pretty big, right? And then they have the grid of the wild cards, and then they had like the little list of in the hunts over on the right.
Hunts,
right? So I guess they're technically in the hunt. I think both teams have a lot of teams to jump to get in, but
the Giants play most of the teams they have to jump.
Yeah,
they play the Packers. They play the Rams. They play the Saints. All 3 teams they have to jump, and they're not very good.
You know what the toughest game in that whole thing is? Probably the Rams.
The Rams have been playing better football lately. I still don't think they're good, but they've been playing better football.
Well, they still don't have Stafford, do they?
No,
he does. He threw 4 touchdowns last game. That's how much I pay attention to the Rams. But I know Kyren Williams came back.
Yep.
I only know that because he's on my fantasy team, and he gave me lots of points because he had a hell of a game.
Yes.
The Giants, they're a team. Bears are a team. Both are. Football's so funny because it's a bounce of a football away from. It makes the difference between 4-8 and 6-6, right? Like, it's just so strange how things go. But I will say this: it's hard to like compare the two because it's like who had the worst losses. The Giants got just devastatedly destroyed by the Cowboys twice.
2 games.
But the Bears also made history by being the first team to lose in the fashions in which they lost to the Broncos and then to the Lions. with the time and the turnover differential and the time of possession. There's something with the Lions game like no team in football history had ever had one possession, 1 yardage, won the turnovers, had the lead with 5 minutes left, and lost. Right, like in the history of football, and the Bears ended up finding a way to do that. So it's tough. And then he had that week one. Week one was bad for both teams. Neither team is
40-0 is that's bad. It's the only thing that I thought it was going to be the worst loss, but then Miami putting up 70 on the Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty bad.
But the Broncos have been good. So what's the deal with the Broncos? They've won 5 straight now, or
yes, yep.
Like come on.
They've put it together. Their play. I don't think they played bad. Their defense had given up when they lost early on. The defense was not helping them. Mm-hmm. And the defense has now turned it around. I've got a friend who's a Broncos fan. He said this is last week was the first week he didn't yell at his TV for them to fire Vance Joseph. He said this is the first week he's been saying this since week 1. As a Broncos fan, Vance Joseph used to be their head coach. They didn't like him when he was the head coach, and most of them don't understand why they brought him back as the defensive coordinator. I like Vance Joseph. So,
but they also they played the Browns, whose offense is. We just talked about the Giants and the Bears being terrible offenses. The Browns' offense is terrible too.
Yes. There's a lot of bad offense. We talk about the Giants and the Bears because that's what we're talking about. There's a lot of bad offense going on in the league.
Saints are terrible. Jets are terrible.
Jets are terrible. The Patriots are terrible. The Pittsburgh Steelers have a terrible
offense.
The Falcons have a terrible offense.
Panthers.
There's a lot of bad offense being played.
There is.
It's bad. Some of the games are difficult to watch.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad football being played. And then you get just the smidgens of good football, like the Eagles and the Bills game, which the Bills should have won, but they didn't. Or is that the only smidgen of good football we had this week?
Yes, because on Thursday the Cowboys dismantled the Commanders to a point where they got their defensive coordinator fired.
Let's talk about that game real quick. Because I think Dak Prescott is having an amazing season, and it should be in line for the MVP conversation. If the game now, I know, and then here's the conversation that occurred after that game. The Cowboys haven't beat anybody with a winning record. I understand. They have 3 losses. Weird one to the Cardinals. Fine. Yep. Right? Good teams lose to bad teams every once in a while. It happens. They lost on the road to the 49ers. They lost on the road to the Eagles.
Those are the 2 teams that are above them that they need to be.
But they lost on the road to two of the top 3 teams in the NFC.
Mm-hmm.
If you throw the Cowboys and the 49ers and the Eagles are the top 3 teams in the NFC.
Yep.
Probably 3 of the top 6 in the NFL. However you want to mix it up, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
To lose on the road to those teams isn't like this terrible loss. You can only play your schedule. They beat the teams that they've beat, and they beat them handily. And then you got one weird loss to the Cardinals that happens in there. No team goes undefeated, and every good team loses a weird one to somebody. It just happens.
Eagles won losses to the Jets.
Yes, exactly. Right? Kansas City's lost 3 times to the Lions, to somebody else. The Broncos, yeah, just and the Raiders probably. Like I don't even know. It's just like weird losses. They happen. So you can't get mad at that. Like it just exists.
I'm not mad at it, but it's a thing. But it's always been a thing. They always beat the teams that they're supposed to beat. And it's like
that's what good teams do.
What I'm trying to say is like it's become a thing with them where yes, they beat up on those teams badly, put up 40 points, but every time they have to face a good team, they don't come to play. This year, I think they no, the Chargers aren't really considered a good team, but they beat the Chargers. And I think record-wise, the Chargers haven't been doing good.
No,
If
the
I'm
Chargers have been pretty poor, but they were supposed to be good, right?
I would not call them a bad team. It's just record-wise, that's what people say for
They're
the
not winning.
Cowboys. They're not winning. But I wouldn't call them a bad team. But the rest of those teams that they've beaten, I would consider them bad team. Beating us twice doesn't say much. Beating the Commanders twice doesn't say much.
But they should. They didn't eke out a win.
It doesn't show
it's
us.
not like they won. They're not like they won 12-10 against y'all.
Right.
They beat you 40-0 the first time, right? And
Yes.
49-17 the second time, right?
Yes, it wasn't that much better.
It wasn't an eke.
I remember.
They beat the Commanders 45-10 on Thursday, right? Like
Yeah.
they beat the Rams 43-20.
Yeah.
They put up 33 on Carolina, and if you remember in the Carolina game, I think Dak Prescott sat from the beginning of the third quarter on, right? Like they didn't play him.
Yeah.
You know, they're beating teams. They lost to Philadelphia in Philadelphia 28-23.
On some really good games, the ways they can play. But that's
Schoonemaker caught a touchdown. They didn't call a touchdown. They said he was down at the 1 yard line because
he was. The ball never crossed the line before his knee was down.
But
that's the thing. Yes, he did cross, but when his knee went down,
he has to finish the catch. He finished the catch in the like. That's the rule. If you're in between the goal lines, right?
Yes.
If you're from the 1 to the 1, you have to finish the catch and make a football move for it to be a catch, and then you're down, right? That one, he caught the ball and then was immediately called down because his knee was touching the ground.
But he was touched down. Wasn't he forced down? If he's forced down, it's where he caught
the ball on his knees, right? He wasn't tackled, right? So, I don't know. Schoonemaker should have had that touchdown. They should have won that game. They got beat up hard by the 49ers 42-10. But I mean, okay. A lot of teams got beat up really hard by the 49ers, and particularly in San Francisco. So you got Seattle, Philadelphia at home, Bills on the road, Miami on the road, Detroit at home, Washington on the road to finish up your season.
That's a tough schedule. If they win, they're going to give them the Washington game. We're just going to throw it out there.
Yep.
You may even be able to give them Seattle game. So what's that? Six games?
Yep.
6 games they have left?
Yep.
If they win 3 of those 6 games, that's
11-6.
They probably 3 of those 6 games, because they'll be playing the Eagles at home.
Mm-hmm.
That they should win that. They should be favorites for that game. They should be win. Is Detroit in Detroit?
No.
It's at home? That's a game that they should have as well.
You'd think. It's Monday Night Football too.
So the Bills and Miami's both away?
Yes.
Those teams aren't scary anymore.
Miami's one of those teams. Miami's another team that is the same situation. They've beat the teams that they're supposed to beat on their schedule. That's all they can play.
Yeah.
Right?
No, they can play. Those other teams they played that they just haven't beaten.
Yes, exactly. But I mean, it's the same situation, right? So let's pull up Miami's. Miami has beat the Chargers, beat New England, beat Denver, lost to Buffalo in Buffalo. A lot of teams lose in Buffalo. It happens. Beat the Giants, beat Carolina, lost in Philadelphia. Happens to a lot of teams. Beat New England, lost in Kansas City. Happens to a lot of teams.
Yes.
Actually, Kansas City was in Miami. They lost by 7 points, 21-14. Beat the Raiders, beat the Jets. They beat the teams they're supposed to beat, right? You can't be mad at that. Then they lose to one of the 6 best teams in football in Philadelphia. They lose to the Bills, who you would argue
badly.
Yeah, they got crushed by the Bills. But in Buffalo, it's one of those things. And then they lost to Kansas City.
Yeah, they had a tough schedule going. They'll win the next couple games until they play.
They have
Dallas
at Washington, Tennessee, the Jets. Then they host Dallas, right on Christmas Eve. Now that's a game you have to circle for them. And then they go to Baltimore on New Year's Eve, and then they play the Bills.
Those last 3 is going to decide whether they make the playoffs.
Yeah. But in that division, they've almost got their division locked up already.
Hmm.
Right? Because they're what, 8-3? They're 8-3 in the East. Bills are
6-6. Man.
six and
Yeah.
six. They've
Their
almost
magic
got the
numbers
division
like a
locked up.
that's true. That's true. Man.
So they might even be caring about that Bills game because there's a chance that it doesn't matter. They're not going to get the first seed, right? I still think the Ravens are going to probably
That
take that.
Buffalo, man, I have to think that Pittsburgh and the Browns are going to falter, especially the Browns without a quarterback.
Browns have
Um,
Joe
so
Flacco.
them being 7-4 right now. Let's say that they bump out. Let's say they fall off the wild card, one of the 3 wild card spots. Buffalo can get there with a 9-7. No, yeah. No, it wouldn't be 9-7, would it? What would their record be? 17 games,
9-8.
9-8. 9-8. It might get them there. I'm looking at the other teams that are even close. The Colts with 6. Jonathan Taylor is having surgery on his hand.
He'll be out for a few weeks, they said.
Yeah. Houston has 6 wins. They could get 3 more and get to that 9, maybe 4 to get to 10. I haven't looked at their schedule, but at this point in time, I'm going to say Buffalo gets in the playoffs. At one point in time, I was going to say that they wasn't, but I think Cleveland's going to fall off and they're going to drop out, and that's going to leave room for one other team to get in there. Pittsburgh will probably do enough. They'll probably get to 9-7, and I think 9 wins is good enough to get to the playoffs in this. Yeah, I think 9 wins will do it.
I don't know. It's going to be tough. I mean, look at the AFC. Patriots out. Jets out. Titans out. Chargers out.
Yep.
Raiders
Yep.
out. Bengals out. And
I forgot about Broncos. Oh, man.
You got the Bills, Broncos, Texans, 10-9-8 on the outside looking in, all with 6 wins. The Bills have 6 losses, though. They haven't had a bye yet.
Yeah.
Broncos, Texans, and then you have the Colts. I think the Colts are a weird anomaly, and I don't see how that sustains.
I don't either.
But who knows? I don't think the Browns hang in there because they just don't have a quarterback, right?
Yeah, that's. Remember earlier when we started this, I said that the AFC North is going to send at least 2, maybe 3 teams to the playoffs. Is what I thought when everyone was healthy. But since then, the Broncos has proven that they may be a playoff team. There would be a scary playoff team, I think, too. I don't think no one wants to play the Broncos. They seem to be getting better right now when they should, and you got to understand they had a new coach. They're getting better. I don't think anybody really wants to play the Broncos in the playoffs. Yeah, the Colts probably fall off. The Texans will probably not fall off. Let me look at the Texans schedule and see what's going on with them.
I think with the Broncos, benefit playing them in the playoffs is it's you're gonna be playing them at home. The Broncos, you won't have to go to Mile High because they're not. Yeah. It's not like they're gonna take that division.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but so even the division leaders, we're assuming the Chiefs is gonna have a bye, or the Ravens. Who do you think is coming out number 1, Ravens or Chiefs? All right, so do you think that the Chiefs want to play the Broncos, a divisional opponent, first time out the gate? Because the Broncos might be 7 and the Chiefs might be 2. I don't think the Broncos want to play them a third time in a year.
Yeah. I don't think it matters to the Mahomes. I think he'll just go out there, do whatever. I think the Broncos are just going to be happy to be in the playoffs, I think. That's how it feels to me. But the Broncos have the Browns next week.
Dude, I thought I was looking at that.
Yeah. No, that was the week 12.
They play Houston. They play Texans. Yeah. So this one right here is basically a playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
That would be 2 weeks that the Texans had basically playoff games, because they could have had went almost to the division leader last week if they'd have beat Jacksonville, and they were close.
Yeah. Yeah, that AFC bubble is interesting because there's a world in which the three teams that are in the playoffs right now, the Steelers, Browns, and the Colts, don't make the playoffs.
Yes. Yes.
Very easily.
Easily.
Those three teams might not make the playoffs, and the Texans, the Broncos, Bills do. Because the Bengals are not going to, the Raiders are not going to, the Chargers are not going to.
Yeah.
Just not going to happen.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, in the NFC, all the bubble teams are sub 500. You got the Packers, Rams, Saints, Bucks, Giants, Bears. These teams all have legitimate chances if they win out. Even the Commanders are technically still in it.
They are. Yep.
They have no business being there, but like all those teams can jump the Vikings at 6-6 without a quarterback. The Seahawks at 6-5, and they're struggling. Cowboys are a lock. So
yeah, let's say so let's put the Seahawks in that spot, right?
Okay.
So we're saying that the NFC looks like San Francisco, Eagles, Cowboys for sure. The next playoff spot, we're giving it to the Seattle. That means the rest of the teams are fighting for that 7th spot. And right now would be the Vikings at 6-6 would have that spot. It is anyone's game. It is anyone's
for sure.
game. It's so bad. And not to mention the Falcons are the division leaders at 5-6.
5-6, right?
5-6.
They're the 4th seed at 5-6. This is just like last year. The Saints are the 10th seed at 5-6. The Bucks are the 11th seed at 4-7. And then there's the Panthers.
They stink. Panthers
fired their coach, Frank Reich.
Which is, I'm gonna tell you, that's usually good for a 1 win.
I
think it's usually good for 1 win.
It might be. They might get that interim head coach bump. I just don't see it happening because that team is just not good. And it's not Frank Reich's fault. He shouldn't have taken the job.
I don't see why you don't take the job, though.
I know you always take the job. Like there's only 30. There's only 32 of them, right?
But not just that. You're going to a team where you get to pick you think you get to pick the head coach. You get to pick the quarterback. Your team's got the number 2 pick at the draft. They said, I read an article today that they had the 2 pick when he got picked.
They had the number 9 pick.
Was it 9?
Yes.
Yeah. I read that they said that they were both in agreement to move up to number 1. Like Tepper said, we're going to do that to get to number 1. Now you have the pick of the litter of who you want. Why wouldn't you take that? That's the job. That to me,
for sure.
The Panthers become a job that you might want. Now, granted, they don't have the talent, but you're thinking that you have time. You get the quarterback, I'll figure some things out. We'll make some moves in free agency. There'll be a running back that we can get. They thought it was Miles Sanders. Wrong. But there'll be players in free agency that they will be able to pick up or try to pick up. So to me, but you got to know, like when you go in there, you tell the guy, just give me time. All I need is time. And they wouldn't even give him time. They already told him, no, we don't like your pick, and we're going to get Bryce versus CJ. But I don't know. That team is going to be bad for 4 or 5 years.
They've already been bad for 4.
Yeah.
Their owner is insano, just in cuckoo pants. Like, what is he doing? He had that press conference today where he just, like, what are you looking for a coach? I want a guy who could be here for 30 or 40 years, do my
because he's a Pittsburgh fit. Because he's a Pittsburgh guy. Grew up in Pittsburgh.
And then when asked about the draft, they were originally, here's what was originally going to happen. The Bears were going to trade down to 2 with the Texans. And I don't know what they were going to get. And then they were going to trade from 2 to 9 back for the Panthers, which was always like this dream scenarios because the Texans had 2 first-rounders. And then you're just like, oh, because they had all this Browns capital from the Deshaun Watson trade. Like, oh, maybe you can poach some of that and then bounce back again. But I mean, the Bears still got just an amazing haul for that first round pick, anyway, right? But then they jump up, and I don't think Bryce is a bad pick. I think Bryce is going to be a good quarterback. I mean, Bryce has a potential to be a good quarterback. I think a lot of these guys coming out of college have the potential to be good NFL quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot there. There's the handful that it doesn't matter the situation. It just clicks and they get it and they succeed because they have certain physical traits and or whatever. And C.J. Stroud is one of those guys. He's tall, strong arm, makes decisions quick, does whatever. But I think Bryce could be good. I just don't know if they're gonna get this. I don't know if they're gonna provide the situation for him that makes him succeed. And here's the thing that sucks is I've watched this play out for the last eternity for the Bears because
good calculations.
Got these last 3 years with Fields where I don't know what they're doing. Like there'll be plays called in a game where you're like, oh, they know what his skills are, and then there's plays where you're like, oh, they want him to be Tom Brady, right? He's not Tom Brady, right? The same thing happened with Trubisky. Not like Trubisky was a good quarterback, but
he was a Pro Bowler 1 year, and they should have built on that.
Yeah, but they totally abandoned that whole style of gameplay, right? And it just repeats itself. You have to get the coach. That's why Mike McDaniel's. I think I've mentioned his name every one of these episodes. He's just good like that. He gets what the team can be with the talent, and then he makes it work. I don't know.
He's made that team in his image.
Oh, for sure.
The players that it's not like he's catered his style of play to that team. No, he has brought players into that team that play the way he wants to be played.
But when he took over the team, though, he had Tua. He had Tua. He had Tua, but they didn't want Tua. Nobody wanted Tua.
They were going to throw Tua away.
Yeah.
So yeah, so he remember they had Fitzmagic, and then they were going to throw Tua away, and he was like, "No, I think I could do something with this guy."
Yeah, because Brian Flores was like, "Well, can't win with him." Did Mike Singletary on him.
Yep.
I don't know. It's just like you need the right mentality in the scheme, and that fits that, and a coach is willing to bend to his talent. Like to me, that was something that I read today that Frank Reich was asked by Tepper or whoever. Can we run more RPOs to fit Bryce Young's talent, his skill set? And Frank Reich, supposedly, this is what I read. I don't know if it's true or not. Frank Reich said, "Nah, that's not the way I run my offense." Right? So, I mean, that's a possibility, right?
Yeah.
He's an old guy, and I don't think he's really been that good. Anybody could have coached Andrew Luck into success.
Yeah,
because he's one of those players, right? Like he's one of those players that comes out of the college and it's like he's going to work in any system because he's that prototypical quarterback. He's tall, strong arm, quick release, all the things that you want, right? That not everybody has because they don't exist in every player.
But to kind of back Frank right up, right? When you bring a guy into the system, you're still kind of finding out, can he do what we're asking him to do, right? So I can see you going in there and not having him run his stuff right off the bat, right? This is your system. He's coming onto your team. You're going to see if he can run what you need him to run. So him saying, "No, I don't run RPO," we're going to see if he can run it. You have to have time to evaluate
for sure
to see if okay, no, he can't do what we're asking him to do. Now maybe let's adapt. But he had 11 games. That's unfair. It's unfair.
It's not even a season. Yeah.
It's not even a season, and that's what I'm really more upset about. That you didn't give him a chance. Like even a full. There is no benefit of firing a guy mid-season after his first year unless it's just to embarrass him. There's no merit in it. You're not getting a crack at anybody super fast right now. There is no merit in firing a guy mid-season. You could at least wait till the end of the season and have a discussion. It shows bad management, poor management skills to do that, because how is it going to look for your next? This is what I've always said as a Giants fan, why you can't just keep firing coaches. You look like that organization, or you look like those owners that nobody wants to work for, because you can't commit to anybody. I signed a 3-year deal. I could be out in 10 games.
Yeah.
Like, who wants to work for it? And why would a top-notch coach, which you want, come to that program?
Because it's only one of 32 that exists in the world.
Yeah, but then
I get that. I get like why you wouldn't want to work for Tepper, but I get why you would, because you're getting paid a boatload of money to do what you want to do, and it's the only opportunity available.
But those opportunities, some people aren't fortunate enough to get a second chance when that first chance has failed miserably. And it failed not due to your fault. It wasn't your fault why it failed. Like, Brian Flores is still looking for a job, right? You know what I'm saying? There's still people out there that's still looking for jobs, and they can't get it. They get that one, it doesn't work well for them, and they don't get another one. The same thing would have happened to the coach at Tampa Bay. Why can't I think of his name? He coached the Jets, and it didn't go well. Todd Bowles. He was fortunate enough to get a defensive coordinator job, and resigned, which he said was always part of the plan to get him another job. But most people don't get that second opportunity. So that's why I'm like, you got to take your opportunity. You got to pick the right place, because that one bad place can be your last chance. You're a defensive coordinator for the rest of your life.
Now, if you look on, boy, and here's why you have to take those situations when they come up. Because if you look at guys like, who was the offensive coordinator for Tampa Bay?
Brian Leftwich? Yeah.
Where is he now? I think he might be coaching high school, right? Like, he was the offensive coordinator, and they canned him. He was supposed to be like this prime head coaching candidate, didn't get a shot.
Yep.
Then got fired like 4 games into the next season because
I've heard people say they think that he should be Mike Tomlin's offensive coordinator once he hires a true offensive coordinator for the end of the year.
Yeah.
So I've heard his name still being mentioned as OC, not as head coach though. And they were mentioning him in terms of head coach. They remember, he was going to go to Jacksonville instead of Doug Peterson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, his name was being mentioned over there. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he was supposed to. I think he turned that down, didn't he?
Probably to stay with Tom one more year.
Yeah. Or Bruce Arians. Yeah, like whatever it was, like there was a situation where like it was like supposed to be done and it didn't pan out. And I don't think it was because of the Jaguars. Because he's played for the Jaguars. It was like this big return home sort of thing. Byron Leftwich, Eric Bieniemy, who for some reason just keeps getting passed over for opportunities. And has to settle for an assistant head coach position.
If he gets passed over for the Washington Commanders, just turn your clipboard in and be done with it. Someone's out to get you. You're never going to get a job.
How does he not get a job? Almost
with the magic that he's doing with Sam Howell.
Sam Howell, for some reason, is like this rocket-armed whiz dynamo that can just produce stats. At least I don't know. Well, we need to move on.
Oh yeah, we got picked. We got to see what we did last week. And
last week was not good for Team Derek. I only got 7 right. And Team Harlan got 10. The moral of the story is I got to stop picking with
your heart
hopes of what I need to have happen. Like, this suits my needs the best, and like start picking properly. Harlan's you got 28 so far. I've got 25.
And we were tied. So it was only +3 last week because we were tied going into there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a bad week last week. That's what I get I need them to win so the Bears can get a better draft pick.
Listen, I voted Dobbs. I didn't think y'all had it in you. We both screwed the pooch on the Lions Packers. How did that happen?
I think the Lions,
they looked bad.
Are they frauds? I doubt they're frauds. Every team has not every team, but especially those like young, new winning teams. They get those weird hiccup lulls. But
like Goff. I think it's Goff. Like he has those last 2 games. He has not played well.
Turnover frenzy. Yeah.
Yep.
Packers got the ball. Bears. I mean, the Bears should have beat them. The Bears should have beat the Lions. The Lions should be on like a 2-game losing streak.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well. Well, Thursday we have the Cowboys hosting the Seahawks. 9.5-point favorites the Cowboys are.
I can't not pick the Cowboys as much as I hate them. Remember we talked about, he got another pick 6.
Yes.
Darren Bland got another pick 6.
Yes, for the record.
That's absolutely crazy.
Yes.
Like someone should be able to tackle.
That's 6.
Six.
6 on the season through 11 games. 6 pick 6s.
You can't tackle him? Like, I don't understand how, how do you just not get the guy to the ground? Like,
I don't know how you keep throwing to his side on those sorts of things. Like,
it was the end of the game. It was the end of the game when he got that pick 6. That was what made me cut the game off. I was like, he didn't get the 6. I turned it off.
You see him out there, and you see him giving your receiver space. You're like, he's not going to jump this route and pick this off. And he does every time. Every time. Like, just don't throw over there. That's I picked the Cowboys too. Then we have the Titans. This is the week of the home dog. Titans are 2.5-point dogs to the Colts.
Colts without Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, so these lines
Titans.
were pre-Taylor being out for multiple weeks.
I'm going Taylor. I'm going not Taylor. I'm going Titans.
Going Titans. I still, I think the Titans will win. I just don't see how I don't. Yeah, the Colts are smoke and mirrors. Patriots 6-point dogs to the lowly Chargers at home. Patriots at home.
It doesn't matter. They could be playing on the moon.
Playing on the moon, then Herbert would throw like a 500-yard bomb, which would be impressive.
And Mac would still throw it to someone else.
To a moon man.
Exactly. Like, where'd he come from?
The Moonanites from Aqua Teen Hunger Force are there. Another interception.
Yep. Yeah, the Chargers.
Yeah. This is gonna be the one where I'm like, maybe the Patriots can sneak out a win. I just don't see that happening.
See, once again, you're hoping now.
I need the Patriots to win. I want the Patriots. I just need that cushion. I need a game cushion in there because you're right. The Panthers might get like some like.
They got to get one win with.
It's got to be this week if it's going to happen, and I don't know if it will.
Saints
are 4-point dogs hosting the Lions.
Saints have no reason to be this bad, but they are. And they're the type of bad I don't think you can fix mid-season. So I can't go for them unless they're playing the Falcons, but they just lost to them. So I'm going to pick the Lions for them to get right and Goff to have a great game against them.
I think the Lions get right. I think it'll be a surprisingly high-scoring game.
Oh, I think it'll be scoring. I think
the Lions will eke out the win, like 32-28 sort of thing. Jets 3-point dogs hosting the Falcons. We were talking about all the bad offenses that exist. They're all playing each other. Maybe it's because there's so many bad offenses.
Oh my God. I kind of want to take the Jets here.
They're only 3-point dogs. Only at home.
I kind of want to take the Jets. I'm going to take the Jets. I'm going to take the Jets here. I don't know
The Jets defense can bully the hell out of Desmond Ridder.
Yeah.
They should be able to bully him. They should be able to get after him.
I don't know who's even playing. Robert Saleh I don't understand. I don't understand what he's doing with Zach Wilson. I don't understand. You have seen enough for him to know that he doesn't have it.
But
it's
they're not
time
even
to bring
him.
someone.
They're playing another dude. And
Boyle, he don't have it
either.
You're right. He doesn't have it.
And they're like, well, this is what we got. Nothing else we can do.
Oh, you're right.
Be damned if I'm going to bring in Joe Flacco or call Matt Ryan or
out the booth.
Yeah, or Phillip Rivers. or
There's a lot of people. Every time I keep hearing RG3 talk about, or this is how crazy this quarterback year is. People like RG3 are saying that they can play again. Cam Newton is saying, "Yo, guys, just sign me. I'm ready." Because they're like, I can't be worse than him. And you know what? They're right.
they're right.
They can't be worse
There's no
than
way
a
Cam
Boyle.
Newton is worse than Boyle. There's no way RG3 is worse than Boyle. There's no way that Colin Kaepernick, who's like 40 years old, is worse than Boyle. There's
This
just
is
no
really
way.
bad.
There's
I
no
take
way.
Alex Smith right now.
Yes.
I think right, there's calls that should be made to all these people who are in the booth right now. Calls should be being made
Yes.
to them because it can't be worse than what we're seeing.
Mark Sanchez.
Mark is out there. Brady Quinn.
I mean, there's guys that have got to be better than Boyle. They just got to be.
Yep.
You're taking the Jets. I don't know who's worth taking in this one. I'm going to go. Oh, God, the Falcons are so bad, though, on offense. It's like they refuse to give the ball to their playmakers. Last week they did okay last week, but they're playing the Saints, who are terrible on defense. I'm going to go with the Jets as well.
Oh, okay.
And it's not going to be because of their offense. I think the Jets win 5-3.
They don't have Ritter's not good. He's not the answer.
Oh.
I don't understand why they won't make Bijan just a workhorse and just
keep giving it to him.
everywhere. Pass it to him. Let him run it.
Let him throw it too. Shoot. Steelers 5.5-point favorites at home versus the lowly Cardinals.
Yeah. The numbers don't show it, but the Steelers offense looked better without Matt Canada.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with the Steelers. The numbers that everyone keeps showing, that how they keep losing the yardage and still winning, that can't last. They're also remind me of the Giants last year. They've won many one score games, which when it happens, keep rolling with it. And they've got the better coach. That's probably about it. That's probably and defense.
Yeah.
So I'm going Steelers. I can't go against them.
I realize the Steelers are 5.5-point dogs. Or favorites.
Oh, the favorites.
The Cardinals are dogs. It feels like, and 5.5 points is a considerable spread. It feels like a coin toss game to me.
Yeah, I would honest. Are we talking about with the points? Because I can't. I wouldn't give them 5.5.
No,
if I was taking the points, I'm definitely taking the Cardinals because I just don't see them scoring that many points.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Steelers as well, only because I got to stop thinking these bad teams can eke out wins. Because the Steelers are a good team, but they're not a good team. They're good. They're fine. They're a decent team, strong defense. Offense is pathetic. They win games, but they're going to
be in every game. They're going to be in every game.
They're going to get bounced in the first round of the playoffs, or they'll find a way to make the Super Bowl. It's one of those things, right? There's I don't know how the Steelers do it, but here they are. Yeah.
I hope not, because coming out the NFC is going to either be the Cowboys, Eagles, or the San Francisco, and I lose 2 out of those 3. San Francisco would have to make it. Do we even have to say Commanders versus Dolphins?
They're hosting the Dolphins, and they're 9.5-point dogs. Sam Howell and the Commanders. Riverboat Ron is going to I don't know, riverboat his way. Why does he get that nickname? Because he's a gambler?
Because he used to go for it on 4th down all the time when he was with the
Well, you had Cam Newton. Why wouldn't you? You should go for it on 4th down every time. That's what the Eagles should go for it on 4th down every chance they get to.
They pretty much do.
I know.
Once they get across that 50-yard line.
And they win. They win every time. Riverboat Ron and the Commanders are 9.5-point dogs versus Tua in the nation's capital.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be the Dolphins. Commanders, they have nothing.
Yeah, I don't see the Commanders winning this game. And
This is a good
here's
one.
the good one.
This is a good game.
Texans are 3.5-point favorites at home versus the Broncos.
I am going Texans here. I'm going Texans. This Dell and Stroud combination has been very good. That defense is very good. Oh, I 3.5 is a good number too, because that's about where the game's going to be. It's going to be. I think it's going to be a close game.
Yeah,
coming down to the wire.
I think it will be a close game. And as much as it pains me to say this, I don't think Sean Payton's a good head coach. I think he's fine. I think he's a good head coach. I don't think he's a good head coach. I think the Broncos find a way to win this game only because cringe master general Russell Wilson is going to find a way to get the things that matter to him: faith, family,
oh no,
football. All those things are going to come together on the field, and they're going to find a way to win.
Nothing. Oh, sorry.
What is it? And he does the guitar, and he
goes, yes.
What is it? What is the thing? God, they matter most. I can't remember what it is. It's so cringy, corny.
It is very cringy.
And like, that's his biggest sin last year was being. He played pretty bad football at times, but like his biggest sin was being
trying to get himself out there, trying to be more marketable, because that's what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
Somebody's telling him you need to be more marketable, get on social media, but it's rough.
He needs to be one of those the quiet reclusive quarterback that comes out on Sundays. Leave the rest to everybody else. All right, then we have the Buccaneers hosting the Panthers. The Buccaneers are favorites, 5-point favorites. Is Baker Mayfield playing? I know he was pulled from the last game.
You know what? See, I said
this is the one where I think that the Panthers.
I'm going to Panthers. It's going to be another field goal fest. I hope they get the best out of Bryce Young for one game, and this is the game that they get it. I'm going Panthers.
You're going to go Panthers. I can't go Panthers, and it has nothing to do with the Bears.
Oh yeah, it's they look bad.
That team is so deficient talent-wise.
They have fired the head coach, running back coach, and quarterbacks coach. That offense better not have zero remnants of being the same. They should have just went and got Bryce Young's college playbook and just run those.
I think it's a college coach because those dudes in Alabama are never leaving Alabama because they drive around in cars made out of money. Yeah, I just think I would love to see Bryce Young play really well, but I just don't see the Panthers winning, even if he did play well.
They should have won some other games in there. They've been close.
Yeah, because the NFL in general is pretty bad this year.
Pretty bad, and one of those bad teams are the Buccaneers. So if you're gonna win, you got to win against one of the bad teams. So this is where I give the Panthers.
Baker's going to bake, man. He's going to go out there and he's going to eat. It's Heisman Trophy winner versus Heisman Trophy winner. It's the story writes itself.
Oh.
Rams are 4-point favorites at home versus the Browns. Stafford's back. Puka Nakua's out there catching balls. Cooper Kupp's out there catching balls. Kyron Williams back. They have a running game. That dude just runs, man. They got a steal. I don't even know where they picked him in the draft, but he wasn't one of the big names coming out, and he's good.
You see, I'm thinking because
I do see him thinking.
I wanted to say the Rams off top, but I love the Browns defense. But they absolutely also Amari Cooper's not playing either.
Yeah.
So and
Myles Garrett might not be playing either.
It's the Rams.
Myles Garrett hurt his shoulder, and they list him as week to week or day to day or whatever. I don't know.
This game right here.
In Philadelphia, the Eagles are 2.5-point dogs versus the 49ers. And this isn't even the Sunday night game of the week. This is the NFL game of the week on Fox.
They got to flex these better games. They got to flex them. All right. I'm going to go. They've been my number one team. My personal power ranking has been the 49ers has been number one. Whether
Yeah.
their record shows it, when they are healthy, they are difficult to beat. Um, yeah, and yeah, they can play big up front. They can throw the ball if they need to. Last time they played, they injured Brock Purdy, and we never even got to see what that game was even capable of.
Oh, the 49ers
Uh,
are still salty about that.
yeah,
Well,
yep,
that was the NFC Championship game, right? So,
yep. So I'm going 49ers.
boy, this is a real tough one. And it's not a toss-up game. It's not like a coin flip game. Because um, I think the Eagles will win on another last 2-minute play, and it'll be Jalen Hurts going to find a way to do it. He always tends to do it. He's been so good the last 2 years. He's particularly good against good teams.
Yep.
He there's just something he pulls up his pants and says, "Let's do this," and he gets it done. Eagles win. Packers are 6.5-point dogs Sunday night, hosting the Kansas City's.
Who makes these schedules? Why would the Eagles not be on the East Coast prime time? That doesn't even make sense.
I know they're the late game on the East Coast. They're playing at 3:30.
Fox must have needed a good game and said we're taking that game because
Yeah, look at the rest of them.
yeah, that's why. But they could have had Cowboys Seahawks.
Yeah,
That would. Oh, yeah, right. It is a Thursday game. Yeah, Fox probably said, "Yeah, I'm sorry, this is the game we're taking." So, but yeah, no. Kansas City, I guess KC does not scare me like they used to. Mahomes is still good, still great,
Mm-hmm.
but the rest of that team just they can't be trusted. If you're not named, his name's not Kelsey.
Mm-hmm.
They can't be trusted. But yeah,
Receiver wise, yeah, it's rough. Rashee Rice is probably their highlight, and he's a rookie, so he does.
Pacheco's playing really good at
he's good.
He's a good running back.
He's a good running back. Makes plays. Their offensive line to me is wishy washy at best.
Yeah, but I think their offensive line is wishy washy, but Mahomes can deal with it.
Yeah.
He knows where the deficiencies is. He knows where he just moves up in the pocket. He can wiggle. It's like he sees where the problems are. It reminds me of what's name used to be like that. I felt like Drew Brees. Like, Jesus Christ, can I just hit him? Can I hit him?
Why don't you ever get sacked? Yes,
exactly.
Brees and Brady always drove me. Aaron Rodgers the same way.
Yes,
drive me nuts. They never got sacked, and they always completed passes. Drew Brees completed like 90% of his passes, like all the time, but he never got sacked. You're like, how does he never get pressured? How is he always in the right spot?
Yep. So that's how I feel about Mahomes. Like, yeah, the offensive line may not be the best in the league. He'll make it work.
Yeah.
So KC's my pick.
Yeah, and I think I'm sorry. And this is 30% hate, 70% fact. The Packers just aren't good.
They're not.
Jags are 8-point favorites Monday night hosting the Bengals. Now, this game was probably like, oh, people were excited for this one 4 weeks ago.
But we're now in flex time.
Yeah.
These games can be flexed.
Yeah.
But it's a Monday night game, right?
Yep.
So those usually don't get flexed. The Sunday night game does, but the Monday night game is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jags, the Bengals just don't have anything.
Yeah, I don't see a world in which the Bengals win that game unless.
Even though Trevor can play, he could throw a stinker up there.
It'll take a stinker. It'll take a real stinker for it to happen. Yeah, I got the Jags too. I just don't see how it. So for me to catch back up, I'm looking at Eagles and the Rams and the Panthers.
It's the Panthers. That Panthers one.
Oh, this little stretch right here: the Broncos, the Bucks, the Rams, the Eagles. We're opposites on all of those. and I feel like I'm right on those. So good. That's where
uh,
this is how I win.
yeah, that's a tough one. That's four right there. That would put you in the lead if you take all of them.
Yep.
Wait. No, don't give me the Browns. Don't give me the
You
Browns. I
said
want
the
the Rams.
Browns.
No, I said no because Amari Cooper is going to be out. I
Oh.
talked about, yeah, no, I was like, wait a minute. I do not want the Browns.
Well, I thought you wanted the Browns. You were
At
really
first I
high.
did. No, I was. And then I
Oh.
started going off I was like, okay, no, Amari Cooper's not playing. And then you said Myles Garrett might not be playing. I was like, no, I don't want the Browns. Those guys aren't playing.
Okay. Well, when the Browns win, we'll both look stupid.
Then I'll say, I told you I wanted the Browns.
I told you I wanted the Browns. God damn it. That's it. Boy, oh boy. Yeah. God, bad football. It looks like a bad, and both of our teams are not by. So
Yes. Yep.
I don't even know what we talk about next week.
I'm probably gonna look at that Eagles 49ers game.
Yeah, that's probably the game we should
Well, you know
pay
what?
attention.
We will get a very good picture of playoff picture
You're
for
right.
us because I'm looking at it. Teams that are ahead of us, the Buccaneers, they're playing the Panthers. I have the Panthers. The Rams are playing the Browns. Both of us have the Rams. The Packers are playing KC. Both of us have KC. So the Saints, Lions, we both have the Lions. So even if our teams don't play, we can move into closer standing for the playoffs.
Yep. I think the game of the week is going to be that Texans Broncos game.
That's going to be a good game. That's
Yep.
going to be a good game.
And I hate going against the Texans because I really like that Texans team. There's just something about the way Russ has been playing. I've always liked Russell Wilson, except for his weirdness that like makes you not like him. It's like, oh, jeez, man.
You
I
mean
like
Mr. Unlimited? You mean him?
yeah. Seriously, Broncos country, let's ride it. And I'm like, oh no, who is this guy? Oh well. Well, there it is, Harlan.
Wraps it up.
Wraps
Wraps it up on a winning week for us. Giants and the Bears win.
Man, a week.
We might have to pin this. This may not happen.
We'll remember this day. I'll put it on my phone. Or remind me next year. Remember when the Giants and the Bears both won? And like impossible. These teams are terrible.
Oh, rough. But yes, thank you guys for listening. If you're not listening, you should be.
Yes.
You should
Get on
be.
it. All right.
All right.
We don't have a sign off or anything, so.
Uh,
Bye.